Yeah, good day. I like to discuss a topic, a very interesting topic. I have to put the camera straight. I like to discuss a very important topic and very interesting topic as well. And that is near-death experiences. I read some books about it from scientific educated people and scientific research about it. I mentioned the name of Pim van Lommel, a Dutch guy, cardiologist. He wrote a book, Consciousness Beyond Death or something like that. In Dutch it's called Eindeloos Bewustzijn, Never-Ending Consciousness. And I read a book from Raymond A Moody. Raymond A Moody, M-O-O-D-Y. Yeah, and it's a very interesting phenomenon. I've seen some YouTube testimonies from people who experienced near-death experiences, and I think it's very important because it gives us a good understanding, or it gives us insight in what happens in life and what our life is all about actually. And I think it's a very important thing to study it out. It gives us insight in that the spiritual realm, the spiritual state of being, is something which is real, which is realistic. Do we understand it? Well, not entirely. Mostly, only partly, but it shows that it's all these investigations which are done by highly intelligent investigators, university graduated people who really studied it and investigated over several decades in the meanwhile. And they give us some features and they give us some insights in what it is. And to get it, a lot of people they say, well, yes, it's based on that, in the last moments of your life, that some hormones are going to play in your whole head and start to give you images of things, etc. Or it's lack of oxygen that makes you start to hallucinate, etc., etc., etc. Well, of course, this was taken seriously, these remarks, in the early days of near-death experiences, but it turned out to be non-valid arguments. No, it is not lack of oxygen. No, it is not that some sensitive components, chemicals, are playing a role in the dying process. No, it's what really happens in all of the stories that you encounter is that your body is an envelope of your spirit, apparently, and when you die, your spirit and your body, who are locked together until you die, separate. Apparently, and next to that, if your body dies, the envelope dies, it breaks down, and your spiritual being, your spiritual you, will separate from it, and will see things that you would normally see if you would be alive, but much more, far more sharp, more in detail, etc., etc., etc. And people who are the part that goes out of your body, your spirit, so to say, sees incredibly things, and not only that, but it can move all around. It can move through walls. It can move through doors, etc., etc., etc. And not only that, but what they see. And after they come back to their body, if they get alive, a lot of people die, and then the spirit moves to another place, which I'm going to discuss in a moment. But if they survive it, and so that the spirit comes back to the body, they can have a detailed testimony of what they saw, and in many cases, in all cases, they described what they saw, and that you can only describe if you would have really seen it happen. There's a testimony in the book of Pim van Lommel, where a man is brought with his heart failure into a hospital, and to reanimate him, they had to take his tooth. He got fake tooth. They had to take it out of his mouth and put it. One of the nurses put it on a cart and forgets all about it. And when he turns back when he's alive again, and he saw that happening, that particular nurse took out his tooth and put him on that cart. He saw it happening, while he was, to the medical logic, he was dead already. So later, when he was rehabilitated and he got back to life, he came back to the hospital and said, "Well, I lost my tooth and I need this and that sister, this and that nurse, we call her sister, sister, this and this nurse, and because she knows where she put it." So he comes in contact with that nurse and said, "You know where you took my fake teeth, because you have put them, I saw that you put them on the card there and there." And she said, how do you know this? You were dead? Hello? You cannot know this? It's true, but you cannot know it because you're dead. Well, so these kind of testimonies gives us insight that it's really true, that it's really happening. And more and more of these kind of things that give us insight that what these people describe is really factually true. Well, you cannot explain that any longer with lack of oxygen or hormones playing a role in what's happening in your mind. No, you can only explain it if it really is true what these people are saying. Okay, that's the part where the spirit comes loose from the body. The next part is that there are two versions, or they end up in a very dark, grim environment, or they end up in a place which is very beautiful, is very lovely, is very bright and light and loving, and etc., etc. And they meet people who died before, like grandfathers and grandsisters, and maybe young kids that have died, etc. So, and it gives us insight that yes, there is a place that is very dark and unpleasant, which we call hell. And there is also a place that is described as what we know as heaven, a very loving, very nice surrounding, etc., etc., etc. All these people, no matter what background they have, whether they are Hinduistic, whether Buddhistic, whether they are Islamic, whether they're Jewish or whether they're Christian or whatever, the background of religion, the background of education, the background of social status is not important. They all experience the level of education. It's not important. They all experience similar aspects in that near-death experience, which tell us that because all these stories come from different sides as being more or less the same stories, then it must be true, because they have experienced more or less the same type of things, issues, features. They've seen likewise features. So it gives us insight how the spiritual world is functioning. When you die, apparently you come or in a hellish, dark, unpleasant environment, or you come in a heavenly environment, or both. There are people who are first going to a hellish environment, experiencing a lot of dangerous stuff and unpleasant stuff, and then next go to heaven, and so to see the difference, or the other way around, that they go to heavenly places first and then later are brought back in the hellish environment. So they can testify of both experiences. So this shows us that heaven and hell is real. And just as the Bible is saying that heaven and hell is real. And a lot of people also get in contact with a being of light, to whom they say, well, that is God, that is Jesus, that is the creator of the universe, etc., etc., etc. So yes, near-death experiences are real, and yes, there is a heaven, yes, there is a hell. And folks, one lady, I just saw a movie, one lady was so desperate in her life that she killed suicide, she committed suicide, and suicide always ends up in a hellish place, in an environment which you can best describe as hell. So everybody who has the intention to commit suicide, please don't, because most likely you're going to hell directly, because your life is not yours to take. God gave you life, and God is the only one who can say, okay, now it's your time to come, I'm going to take you to me. So people who have had suicidal thoughts, sorry, your life is not yours. Your life is from God. He gave it, and He's the only one who can take it, including euthanasia or etc., etc. Life is not yours to take. And well, this is actually what I wanted to share with you. Yes, near-death experiences are real, and no, it's not a chemical substance lacking or being added, released during dying. All these stories are real, and they experience real things. Also, children who also died and came back and are being told some information they didn't know, and after they came back, they knew the information, and which was found to be correct by the people who are in the family. So yeah, we never told you this, but yes, you know it, so somebody must have told you. So these testimonies show that near-death experiences is real, and it gives us a clear insight in heaven and hell. Okay, this is what I want to share with you. Take it seriously, because it is seriously. There is a heaven, there is a hell, there is a God who loves you, and He wants you to go to heaven in the end. Okay, this is what I want to share. Thanks for watching. Hasta la vista. See you next time.